Big Justin face. Yeah, I'm hopping around, out of breath half the time because I'm like lose my crutches. Can't remember where I put them, so I just like hop around on one leg.
Why haven't we made better peg legs yet?
Yeah. Yes, I've got like one super strong leg now, and the other one's just like wasting away, getting no love.
I bet. It's going to be frustrating.
Another couple of weeks before I can put any weight on it. I did ride my bike yesterday, which was probably a bit cheeky, but I rode up and down the driveway. That was fantastic. Felt so good to be like outside and moving through the wind.
Like mostly one-legged, or like does it hurt to?
Yeah, no, it was fine. The one leg doing all the work, and it's an e-bike, so like I can push with the good leg, and like the other one's just flopping around a ragdoll. How are you?
Oh, okay, I guess. Yeah, just things we can't figure out how to. I've been traveling, and you've been peg legging, and it's amazing how fragile like our combined schedules can be, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Just disintegrates.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't, because I'm trapped at home with no wheels. I can't, unless I get up 6 and go to the van again. That's kind of my only option. Stage is gone. Back in the car in that hour.
Should go to the oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, are you back at work after your vacay?
Yeah, I got back Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Whenever that is.
Which is good. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole... Well, it was like both really good, like time away, but then... And great to see family, but then also... I would say, like, things didn't fall apart. Like, Ricky did what he could to keep stuff together, but there's just an entirely different type of challenge now, I suppose. It's like with having people need like technical support on like I don't think I said this before, stop me if I did, with like pedestal installations. When there's an issue, it's not so straightforward to go like, oh, just follow this one guide we already have. Both cases of the two we had problems with while I was gone, it's fairly like you got to really understand everything that's going on.
Yeah.
With, kind of like my experience of like years and years of messing around with it, not just like using the machine.
Yep.
And so that and a bunch of other stuff kind of really put to light for me how much we really need to move on with trying to hire somebody to not necessarily just do technical support, but it's just too much for a person that normally just makes stuff in the shop to do on their own, when I'm gone with emails. And so, I today actually published a job listing for
cool.
some form of like office support person, not quite an office manager, but just I was calling it like an operations specialist, which is, I don't know, seems somewhat appropriate. Just trying to help us like keep things organized. And I keep thinking about as I'm hopefully going to take some paternity leave, all this is going to fall apart in a different way. And I would like that person to have some training before I go, hey, I got to leave now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been thinking about you in terms of that upcoming challenge.
All right.
How that's going to play out. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big challenge, but it's kind of, it can be really positive to have that rather immovable timeline in place to make some changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess to be fairly straightforward, it's a little scary of a hire. Like, I think I'm talking with this mentor that I've talked with a few times. Their take was, I'm just moving. You can hear her moving around back there.
Oh, good.
It's hiding behind the desk. His take was that, because I was saying like, I've never really hired somebody that's basically overhead. it's not a direct like making something output. Like I guess all positions are probably overhead at some point, but it's not, it's a little disconnected. And I've always basically hired people that are directly making something pretty directly, like not multiple steps removed. And so his take, which was interesting, which made me feel a little bit better, was like anything that you can hire to free up your time should be like one of the most valuable hires you can make. And I was like, that puts a lot of bonus on my time is really valuable. But I suppose if I'm creating the new things that make us, new revenue, then I think it's true. But it still feels scary to like branch out this way.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that's valid. Like freeing up your time is super valuable, but it still has to balance at the end of the day, right? Like we're in this really tricky spot now where we've built this business model, which is like relies on quite a high revenue per month because we've built this model with, we've effectively got a layer of middle management now. We've got like production manager, sales manager, operations manager, GM, which is great. But it's all been structured around the fact that we can sell X amount per month to make all of that work.
Right.
And in the economic environment, that's proving to be really challenging.
For sure.
And so it's kind of really just sort of brings the point home of like, like you still, at the end of the day, you still need enough. The balance needs to be right in terms of billable hours, stuff being made, getting shipped, going out the door, versus all that support stuff, which is fantastic and frees up our time as business owners or whatever you want to call ourselves. So yeah, definitely a tricky balance to get right, but certainly, thinking back to when we hired our first sort of non-billable role, it was an incredible sort of lever. Definitely.
Yeah.
Fantastic leverage to sort of expand my time. So yeah, positive move. That's cool.
Very distracted because I just realized that I was recording my black hole audio. Anyway,
that's right.
Hopefully it's better now.
Switch to high fidelity.
You probably said something that I missed about hiring people. What was the last thing you said when I was freaking out? My audio was messed up.
Just that it's hard to get the balance right, but. In reflecting on the first non-billable position that we hired, it was huge leverage on my time and really positive thing. We're kind of too far the other way now where we've got too much of that leverage and we're struggling to get the sales to support the model. Super challenging to sort of right now to get that right. And the kind of the bigger you get too, I think the less dynamic and flexible you are in terms of adjusting to market movements and demands. And like we used to be able to ride out huge fluctuations in revenue month on month. It was kind of just like, whoa, party, good month, terrible month, whatever. The ship keeps sailing along. Whereas now it's like we've built a model that's like really reliant on consistency, which is great. If we hit it, it's like awesome. Works, ticks all the boxes, but challenging.
How is your marketing, advertising gone? Is coming back to advertising working?
Yeah, yes and no. I think so. Like some stuff, like just doing simple stuff like the Instagram boosted posts has been useful. It's definitely driving website traffic. Really hard to track conversions, but web sales aren't too bad at the moment. Kind of middling. Would love to get them higher, but they're steady. And I had a pretty entertaining first couple of weeks in Google Ads because I turned those back on recently and just like built a new campaign from scratch. And like went sort of ultra. Oh, no, very little traffic. I went sort of ultra targeted because all my ad sort of efforts at the moment sort of super targeted. It's like I've got like a tight radius around just a few Melbourne suburbs, and I'm like kind of like I just want these people to see our ads because I know that that's like our key demographic. And so like I built this Google ad campaign that was performing really well, like had a really high efficiency score. It was like its click-through rate was 90%. And then I was digging around. I was like, oh, it's only been served to 10 people and 9 people have clicked on it. So I'm playing in a very small fish pond with that. And I need to.
I'm imagining you out in like a tuxedo. Like, would you like to see my fancy shelves? You're the only one that gets to see them today.
Just you, out of all of Google, only you shall see it. So it's been entertaining. I've been doing a little bit of keyword research to try and just like broaden my scope. Like, cool. Found this cool website actually. I'll put it in the notes because it might be useful to other people. It's called Answer the Public. And it creates these very attractive like pie charts of Google search terms and traffic. And so I've been mucking around with that. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I came across it from like some TikTok marketing video.
Answer the Public.
The algorithm knows I love and watch. Answer the Public. So yeah, I've been digging through that a bit, like sort of doing keyword research on bookshelves. It's like in Australia, where's the most search volume and what sort of terms, and then I'll take that research and plug it into Google and see what I can come up with. But yeah, that's going okay. I've been just sort of kind of in a weird space of like ultra focused on ensuring the business continues because it's pretty dicey at the moment. And so my focus is very much on sales and how I can help there more broadly.
Right.
Rather than specific marketing campaigns, which is obviously part of the equation, but yeah.
It feels like a lot of cost though when it's not working.
Yeah, it's just another cost, that's right. So, yep. Interesting times, but nice to be back in the office. See people, have conversations. Right. Just makes it all a bit more real and it's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been in the photo booth today, like wheeling around on an office chair.
Nice.
Like, clearing the junk out of it and setting up for a shoot. A little peg leg shoot this afternoon. So once we jump off this recording, I'll jump in the photo booth and like drag myself around on the floor, assembling kit parts in my main boot. So that should be entertaining.
I don't remember this guy's name on Answer the Public. I've seen his face everywhere. I've used his SEO websites.
Oh.
NP Digital, but he's like a SEO marketing guru that's everywhere.
Yeah, right. Is that his website, Answer the Public?
It seems to be.
Yeah, right. Okay.
What is his name? It's NP Digital, so it's
something. I see the link.
The hell is...
I've been having some interesting conversations with people in like Insta DMs with the whole Threads, when Threads popped up a couple of weeks ago, and then like the whole blue tick conversation. I've had various conversations with people about like, how did you get the blue tick? Or like, has it been worth having a blue tick? And like, you seem to be the face of the brand now. Like, is that working? And like, other makers, and like, it's interesting. A lot of people here at least, the sense there's a lot of people who are like, everyone's in this very similar boat. It's like, whoa, this is weird. Like, how do we get through this patch?
Because the economy is kind of happening at the same time. Yeah.
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 Which is kind of concerning it's really disconcerting in one way of like, oh, if everyone's in this situation, like the whole thing could sink really quickly. Or by the same token, that's kind of reassuring because you can have these conversations with all these people like, oh, this is hard, isn't it? Cool. What do we do about it?
Right.
It's kind of, it's interesting.
My mind just kind of through the, pandemic was like, all right, well, what can we possibly do to stay in business? And it was like, tried to make COVID things at one point, which didn't really work. Weird. Well, I mean, in America, I think it was probably same for you. There was this crazy boom of everybody wanting to work on their house, even though it was like, so it just, exploded in that way. So that kind of worked and it kept things going in a different way than we expected. But
totally.
I mean, like, for example, like architecture is kind of slowing down in our region, so that's a little concerning for my wife and us, I suppose. And so you think about like, well, what are the resilient industries surrounding that if you have to like change jobs, or like if I had to support some other industry, and it's like, well, they're always building things for the government, and like schools schools and hospitals never really slow down. It's like, how do you support those things? Is there, can you sell shelves to those companies, like if it's the same? I don't know. Or hospital thread boards. Infirmary thread boards.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know.
I don't know either, and I don't want to sort of create a sort of a culture of like, oh, this is shit and hard, isn't it? Like, poor us having to run our businesses. But I've forgotten what I was even going to say.
Well, I mean, but it's reality though. No, it's like,
it is reality. Like it's starting to feel a bit like 2020, but without the sort of weird boom of flat pack furniture that happened in that same year, and without, because Australians had businesses, got a lot of government support.
Yeah, same.
Like we were, propped up in many ways during that year because it was tough. And I feel like we're entering a period again here where it's like similar sort of economic conditions, but no one's getting that support, and so everyone's freaking out a little bit.
It's really weird. Yeah, I kept expecting the same to happen here, and we all talk about it like it's like there's this, I don't even know if it's a political divide, but there's some divide of like, and I can go either way. It's kind of like based on how my week's gone or something. It's like we're either like sliding into a recession or we're doing fine and everything's, a ton of people are super busy, like all different types. I know, like all the machine shops are just slammed and ordering new machines, and nobody can get machines. And like,
wow,
we're not necessarily that, because we're not really like, I suppose, pushing too hard into job shop work, but still, it's just odd. It's like one would think it's the kind of inflationary numbers that we were seeing, and we would also be in that position, but something's artificially supporting it feels like.
Yeah.
What do you think about threads?
I don't know. I've never been a Twitter user. I've always been much more interested in images than text. I take some pleasure in it. And it's been interesting to sort of jump in there in the first week and have a little explore and poke around. But I haven't been particularly active, and yeah, I don't know. Meh. I sort of have a mild interest in observing what happens, but I'm not jumping in there hard. What about you?
I heard a podcast, I think it was The Verge today. Like, I've been interested too, and it was really kind of thrilling to immediately have a lot of followers by just basically opening it up, and everybody had the same experience of like, oh, well, I can just follow everybody that I already had and they'll follow me. So it's like we're just copy pasting, ourselves over. I heard on the Vergecast today, it was pretty good. I think it came out Friday. Somebody said, well, it's basically just Facebook, but like black and white, and like it's been denuded and monochromatic, monochromed, and kind of like they've removed the images below the text, but really it's just different colors. I don't know. Yeah, it's like I keep going on there thinking I'm going to find something exciting and interesting, and this I see stuff I don't really care about. It's like sports or like some influencer that I could care less about. None of the people I actually like want to see or
same. Yeah. It's strange. But yeah, see what happens. See what pans out. I was thinking for a second there that it could be just like my creative dumping ground for all my like off-brand
I did see some of those
AI renders. That's what I started putting out there. I was just throwing up Mid-Journey images every few hours, because that's what I happened to be doing when I got access. But I lost motivation for that pretty quickly. I haven't had much motivation at all for social media the last couple of weeks. It's felt like a bit of a chore Like I've done what I've tried to
Right.
keep it moving. But I think because I'm off, it's that classic thing for me of like, if I don't have my hands on the tools, I don't feel like I don't have much to say. And so I don't. And so that's
Right.
been even further compounded. You know, that was kind of propped up previously by me being able to muck around in the photo booth or take photos or make new videos. Whereas being stuck out of work completely, it's like I quickly ran out of footage on my phone. I was like, cool, I don't have anything new to say.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything. Oh, well. Which, yeah, that combined with kind of slow sales and like this pressure to be like, we really need to pick up momentum here. Weird space to be in. But yeah. But it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Get on with things.
Sure. Right. Yeah. That's an interesting noise.
People. Don't usually hear people.
People. Hey, I heard somebody like cough or sneeze earlier, and I was like, "Whoa, who's right behind you?"
Yeah, I'm surprised it comes through. How is your production flow, things going through your workshop?
Pretty good. We had, what happened? Oh, 4th of July, which was on a Tuesday. So that kind of meant that like sometime Friday through basically Wednesday, nobody really did much. It seemed
okay.
not like our shop necessarily. I was gone. We were a little slow too, but like we ordered material and then like I ordered it like before I left that day, like Friday or something. And it just like didn't arrive for the whole week and a half. So it was like Ricky couldn't make it. We were out of material for the mill for certain things. So like I made a ton of ATC forks, which was great. We needed those and they're super dialed in, and we figured out a much better way to align that fixture, which was frustrating. I didn't really like do a very good job of making it so that it was easy to align at first, and we don't have like fancy probing on the router, right?
Yeah.
So I used, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are going to say, well, duh, but I hadn't really done it before. Have you ever used like a little edge finder, the spinny edge
The mechanical
finders?
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, once. I was like, oh,
Love
wow.
those things.
That's cool.
Right. We had
Never
one,
used one
like,
again.
my first employee got me into buying one. I believe they broke it like within the first week we had it, and then I never touched it, and I didn't think about it again for years.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how in the world are we going to align this fixture on the router so we could indicate a side, but I couldn't pick up any coordinates on it? And then I was like, oh, well, they make edge finders that are like centering edge finders. So like we could center it into a hole.
Ah, cool. Yep.
And it was super dialed in, which was cool. So I'm going to
Great.
probably make a little video on that, because I assume there's a decent amount of other people with routers that probably haven't done this also. And I found that to be really useful.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like really
Yeah,
cheap, like $18 or something like
so
that.
cheap. Yeah, I remember when I first discovered them, I was like, oh, wow, it's like magic. And then it was, in the days when I was lead machinist and doing everything, experimenting with everything. And it's the kind of thing, I was like, oh, this would be great. I could set up more fixtures on the machine, have like a really repeatable setup. But in the reality, it's just like it wasn't really part of our workflow in terms of
It's a
just
little
throwing another
slow
sheet
for
of plywood.
sure. Right.
But also just in terms of the kind of work we're doing, it's like, no, not really necessary for when you're just chucking sheets on a vacuum table.
Right. Like probing or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was also around the time when I was kind of window shopping for 5-axis machines. And I remember like chatting to the 5-axis sales guys about like, oh, so can you get a probe for this? And they're like, yes, you can, but no one in industry uses one. Like, why would you?
On a 5, because it's all center point.
It's all like timber 5-axis stuff. So like, yeah, it's just no one's doing much automation or like probing their block of hardwood before they machine
Oh, sorry.
a stair
I was
tread
thinking
out
you
of
meant
it. Like,
5-axis like mills, and I was like, what?
no,
What are you talking about?
no. Yeah. No, obviously everyone with a mill as a pro,
Right,
ideally,
right.
but like, no, the sort of 5-axis BSE pod and rail machine.
It's interesting. Right.
I'd still love one of those. I don't know what we'd do with it. Yes, I do. All sorts of fun things, but it'd be
Right.
very hard to justify the business case for it these days, unfortunately.
Just all it does is make dells,
Yeah.
threaded dells. Like, and I just keep
One at a time.
imagining it like Ninja Turtling around one side to the other
You're
with
so
like a
good. It comes in on an angle, puts like angled Gmail threaded bores into the side of things.
Just think of the videos you could make.
I think of the videos.
It's worth it. You got to do it.
It's just a camera dolly, automated camera dolly.
You'd have another robot for the camera, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
I had this is well,
No,
we're
you
just
go.
kind of a non sequitur conversation today, as it's late for me and early for weird time for you, and I'm in the middle of food. But I had like a pretty amazing sketch session on one of my flights to and
Cool.
from the Midwest, and I came up with a couple new product ideas, and then kind of resolved a pretty long-standing issue with one of the dust boot things, that the brush problems, even nothing I suppose super direct to share, but it's always like, I feel like I had this thought. I was like, man, this is pretty common that I get this like fairly inspired creative streak when I fly somewhere. I was like, is there a case for me just flying places in the future to sketch?
Just for that time.
Like, not very sustainable, but maybe I should try that.
You just build yourself a flight simulator. Plywood box, hydraulic actuators.
It's really crappy though, and like
Yeah.
just jerks. Turn left. Yeah.
Oh, that'd make a good video. I've discovered that I can only be creative on flights. I'm building myself a plywood simulator. Got like an automaton, like flight attendant who comes and brings you
Right.
drinks. Keeps topping up your
And-
glass.
That comes in through like a straw through the side.
Yeah.
I keep,
Fantastic.
in the daydreaming about hiring, and like we had a couple decent job sales that are bigger than normal, which kind of makes me feel a little more comfortable about taking a little more of a gamble on what feels like a gamble on hiring right now. And so I immediately started dreaming about all the things. It's like, oh, what if I hired somebody that just helped me make videos all the time? Another
my gosh.
production person. I could just make at least a video a week, because I've always known that basically every video that exists, like a longer form video on YouTube, really ends up helping. It's like, I always think about it, it's like it increases the web, your like network web of like the things that people can see. And even if it's like doesn't inspire a direct purchase, which I mean, videos that are just straight marketing usually don't work very well, right? But
Agreed.
it's like, it just creates more opportunity for, maybe it's like the Coca-Cola effect or something, right? Where it's like, you're not really going to go buy a Coca-Cola when you see the ad, but like it's in the back of your head somewhere. Like when you need it, when you're like, oh, I need a drink. Oh, Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's people buy things from people they know, like, and trust. It's like, oh, it's Justin's face. Oh, he knows a lot about this. He
Edge
seems knowledgeable
finders.
and trustworthy. I'll buy
You
a
just
thing
learned
from
about
him.
edge finders.
It's totally a thing, though. Like, I think it's so important. But yeah, wouldn't it be nice to be able to do a video a week? Not be like slaving over the edit at like 11 p.m.
Right. I mean, he could very well hear this, but I don't understand how the hell John Saunders made at least one video a week for years and did
Get a full-time editor.
significant. Well, it was
Didn't
also like an in-house like other thing person too. Like he did a bunch of other stuff. But sure, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Not all of it. I would say what maybe
Not all of it, no.
half of the time. Half of the time.
Yeah, sure.
But he's still doing it like every week. He's still making a video, basically, and running a significantly larger business than I am successfully. That's like, how in the hell does he pull that off? I don't understand.
It's impressive. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Dreams.
Dreams. I think they make a video.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, let's get eating dinner. It's like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
Isn't it?
pretty late. I was hanging out with my brother on a little online thing, and then
Yeah,
I was like, I should probably eat something else. And I found some leftover pizza.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it so that maybe I'll convince you to go. But the Fusion Summit thing in San Luis Obispo,
Yeah.
I think it's August 22nd through 24th, was announced like while I was gone. But I did register, haven't booked.
Yeah.
I don't really want to drive because it's 13 hours each way, but it would be cheaper. And yeah, trying to figure that all of that out. But I think it's gonna be pretty fun. It's like a
Cool.
power user. I don't know what to call it. Like not experts, but like they have a beginner version that's happening kind of simultaneously in Denver.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like a intro version, and then the one that I would prefer to go to is kind of like more specific, higher tier,
Cool.
experienced user things. So yeah, it's pretty open. I could post the link
fun.
to it,
I'd love
and
to.
you should hop on over.
That'd be so good. I would love to do that. I'd just blow everything up. Come to the States.
There's a lot of people. I think Scott Moyes is coming from what, New
Yeah,
Zealand?
of course he is. Yeah.
Same thing,
All the
right?
pros. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. No, I'll be.
Wasn't much notice, honestly. Like they talked about it
No.
like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and we
Okay.
kept going like, when are you gonna open registration? And they're like 1 month ahead of time. Oh, okay. Well, we're in like strike world over here with the writer strike. Now it seems like the actors are gonna strike, and now one of our major shipping providers, UPS, seems like they're also going to strike in
Oh.
August, which is
Sure.
who we use primarily for shipping. So that'll be interesting. We'll either be shifting suppliers or going to the postal service, which I'm not looking
Okay.
forward to because they're messy, but that'll make things silly, I'm sure. Probably for good reasons. I think it's about wages for the helpers to the drivers.
Okay.
I think they're really low wages, and then
Yeah.
So it's probably all good, but
Yeah.
wish it didn't have to come to that.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Hopefully there's good outcomes for people out of it.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I can't eat your pizza. I'm going to go make a video.
Right.
Thanks for joining me from the basement, wherever you are.
Right. I wish I had a basement. That'd be great.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well,
Thanks, man.
go hop
Take care.
along.
I'll go hop along. Skippy. Insert sound clip. Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sure, that was perfectly in time.
Boing, boing. Yeah. Sure.
Just me and the dogs.
What the hell was that?